If you're considering buying, selling, or you just own real estate in the Boise area, here's what's going on in the market today through the end of May 2024. First of all, inventory is up. It's actually the highest level it's been in the last 2 years. And because of that, we're actually going to compare this market to the market we were looking at 2 years ago. So if you want to know more about that, watch the rest of this video. All right, so we talked about it being the highest level of inventory in the last 2 years. So before we look at 2 years ago, let's go ahead and just look at what is happening in our market today. So currently we're sitting at 950 listings in the Boise area. I'll get zoomed in on this upper part here for you guys to see a little bit easier. So you can see the red line indicates active listings. We have 950, so we're up month over month by just about 12% or so. Nothing too out of the ordinary, by the way. And you'll see this as we go look at one of the previous years. You can actually go look at last year as well. You can see, May to June, you just kind of creep up. Now, we'll get to see this as we look at 2 years ago and how this is a pretty normal trend. The pendings were actually slightly down. It was only 2 down. You can see there's 564 in May. There's 566 in April. That is actually not something that we would want to typically see. We usually see those continue to rise as inventory is going up. We actually see more pendings go up too. But what happened in the beginning of May? Well, in the beginning of May, our interest rates were actually towards the highest levels we had seen in, almost 6 months. As I'm recording this today, it's June 6th. There has been quite a bit of relief in the 30-year fixed interest rate. Early to mid-May, we were near 7.5%. And again, as I'm recording this today, we're closer to 6.75%. So we're actually seeing activity start to pick up a little bit more. So long story short, that's why we saw the amount of pendings actually pull back a little bit. And that's why we're seeing inventory increase a little bit as well. So as we zoom out here a little bit, you can see this is the number I'm looking at, this 2.1 months of supply. We haven't had 2.1 months of supply since June of 2022. And I'll show you, I'm actually going to go to June of 2022 right here. 2.1 months of supply. Now notice there was 1,386 active listings. But you can also notice, and this is actually really funny if we just look at these months. A couple things you need to know about June of 2022. First of all, interest rates were flying up. People were getting a little nervous. So the Fed was raising rates the fastest that they'd raised them in history. We had rate hike, all the way from basically January until June, and obviously they continued to raise rates. But you can see we only had 563 pending in June. In May, we had 600. So as we zoom in here, we don't have June's data yet, but you can see that we have 564 pendings in May versus 600. And of course, 563 in June 2 years ago, even with inventory going up significantly. So just the school of thought behind that inventory going up, that would provide more options for buyers, which would mean that they would typically buy more homes, right? Because we've had such an inventory constriction that, it's caused us to sell less homes. And you can actually see, if you look at this rate, go to June of 2021, there's 834 homes that went pending in June of 21 versus 563, which is a massive drop. And that's obviously driven, majorly by rates and affordability. And you can see how low the listings were. We had 479 listings in June of 2021, 1,386 June of 2022. Fast forward to 2024, which is where we're at today, we have 950. But the months of supply is back up to that 2.1 months of supply. Now, why does this matter? I want you guys to understand that, we're trending in a certain direction. Now, why does it matter? It's still super low. 5 to 7 months of supply is a balanced market. So if you have less than 5 months of supply, that's a seller's market. That means the sellers have, less inventory. They got something that people want, and the buyers don't have a lot of options to choose from. So they've got to kind of take what they can get. Now we jump over the 7 month supply. That goes into buyer market territory. It means there's more homes available for buyers to purchase than there are buyers, which means buyers get to kind of pick and choose which home they want, and they also get a look at their terms. Okay, so don't get freaked out about inventory. This is more of a directional trend that I would want you to understand. And this is one of those things that might be considered, the beginning of a trend. And just given what I've seen, I do think that this could be getting us more towards a normal market. Here's something else I'd want you to know. Take a look at let's look at these numbers right here. Last thing I want you to look at. So this is June of 2022. It's showing you from 2021 till 2022, the last 12 months sold. You have 100% of the original price to the sold price. If you come to 2024 and you look at the last year, we have 98.6%. So what does this mean? I just realized I wasn't showing you guys. So let me show you super fast. Here we go. So you can see 98.6% over here in basically last 12 months. And then you can see we had 100% back in 2021 to 2022. So what does this mean? Well, it means that you, as a buyer, even though it's still a seller's market, sellers are negotiating. Sellers are improving their prices. There's not a ton of inventory out there, but you can still go ahead and negotiate, especially if you have a great agent advocating on your behalf. So what kind of questions do you guys have about the market, the direction it's going, the inventory? Do you guys think this is going to be a long-term trend? Do you think this is something that's just a seasonality thing? I'm really curious what you think. Give us some feedback either in the comments or reply. If you got this via email, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And what kind of questions do you have? What do you want to learn going forward about our market? Let us know. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this entire video, and we'll see you next month.